Hi everyone, I'm Brenda Quintana and I'm excited to share some additional ideas with the March 2022 Beyond the Horizon Paper Pumpkin Kit. I'm going to share how you can use the stamp sets in your kit with a few additional supplies to create a half sheet wonder and some trifold cards. This video is for everyone, but I'm going to have a special project sheet just for my subscribers. Also, my subscribers get a kit night with me on Zoom each month, and that's always the second Wednesday of the month. If you would like to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin with me, I'm going to pop up this link up on the screen here, and I also have a clickable link down in the description of the video, and that's how you get to subscribe with me. The new Paper Pumpkin, we have one coming up every single month, and we have a new one for April, and I will share more information about that kit at the end of this video. The sign up is always the 10th of the month, so for the April Paper Pumpkin, the deadline is April 10th. All right, I can't wait to share with you my design, so let's pop over to my other camera. All right, so here is the March Paper Pumpkin Kit, and these are the cards that are in the kit that you will get to make. And what I did was I pulled the two stamp sets out of the kit. This kit had a bonus stamp set and it had a regular stamp set, and this was the bonus stamp set here. I've pulled off some of the stamps already just to get them ready to stamp tonight. And then this was the other stamp set that came with the kit. This is the one that you're going to need to create the cards that were in the kit. And I'm also using some of those stamps tonight. So I wanted to start off first and share with you what I'm calling a half sheet wonder. Now you've probably heard of a one sheet wonder before, and sometimes I've created one sheet wonders before, but this one I wanted to create one that was just half a sheet, because sometimes we don't want to stamp a full sheet, so I thought we could do it with half a sheet. But the neat thing about a one sheet wonder is that you do all the stamping and then you cut it up into pieces, and it becomes like a designer series paper that you can use on your cards. So to start off with my half sheet wonder, you're going to need a piece of 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to start with stamps that I have hidden. There they are. All right, let's pull these out. So here is that big stamp that had the floral on it, and I put this on an E block. It does fit on a D block, but just barely. So if you want to use an E block, you'll be a lot happier with it. So I'm going to open up, I'm going to take a pale papaya ink pad. You can use whatever color ink you want, but if you're going to do this, I suggest choosing two colors for the flowers, because you're going to have the bold and then you're going to have the detail. And so choose a light color for the bold flower and a darker one for the detail. So I'm going to use Pale Papaya and Calypso Coral. So I'm just going to ink this up. And the idea is I'm going to just stamp a pattern all over the card, and you can leave some blank spots because we're going to add some leaves. And if you prefer, like if you want to know exactly where everything's going to be, you can always intermediate stamp with leaves in between the florals. But I just kind of want to lay down a bunch of florals, and then I'm going to fill in with leaves and dots afterwards. So I'm just going to turn that. You just want to cover the whole thing with flowers. Maybe right there. I'm trying to leave a little bit of space so we can fill in some of these with leaves. Whoops, I just dumped my ink pad upside down on my work surface. I'm going to have to clean that up in a moment. It's off camera, so you can't see the mess that I've made. I've also got a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, just regular computer paper protecting my work surface. And I wanted to show this pattern from start to finish because I could stop and, you know, have had one that was pre-made, but I just wanted to share with you the whole process so that you could see it. And I want to do one more over here. Maybe a bit like that. Okay, so I've got this whole thing covered, and I'm just going to take a little tissue and get rid of, I have some ink over on this side. I don't want to stick my finger in it because that would be bad. All right, so we've got this whole thing covered, and the next thing I want to do is take my Pear Pizzazz, and I've got two different kinds of leaves that I'm going to use. There's actually 3 leaves in the set, but I'm going to use a single leaf and a double leaf. So let's see where I can squeeze in the double leaf first, because it takes up a little bit more space. So I want to have a few of those on here if possible, just to give it kind of a I can put one right here. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with my single leaf, and just wherever I can, I'm going to add a leaf. And then I'll show you in a minute what we figured out. It was neat. I was stamping last night on the Paper Pumpkin Zoom showing these alternate designs, and one of my stampers said, "What are the 3 little dots for?" And I was like, I really don't know. But I said they might be an accent stamp, and that's actually what we figured out that they were. And so we're going to add some accent stamps to this piece. And I think I'm going to, it's nice to kind of just add a few green pieces coming in from the side. Okay, so we've kind of got that covered. And now this is the little accent stamp that I was talking about. It's got 3 little dots. So this one I'm going to stamp off, and wherever there's room, I'm going to kind of add the 3 little dots every time I'm going to stamp off, because I don't want it competing with the leaves. I want it to be a little bit lighter than the leaves, but I want to fill in some of the white space to kind of break it up a little bit, because I don't want that intensity. Fit some in here, maybe some in here. Okay, so I think I've kind of got all of that covered, and now one more thing, or a couple more things I want to do. The flower centers here, those are going to be full strength Pear Pizzazz ink, and I'm going to add one more detail to the flower center as well, but I just want to go ahead and get these all stamped while I have my green ink pad out here. And then I'm going to come in with Calypso Coral. It's already looking really pretty. And the cool thing about this is even if something doesn't stamp perfectly, it's such a busy design, it's not going to matter. So I'm going to come in and just go over the flower centers one at a time and hit them with the Calypso Coral full strength. And then I've got the background or the detail stamp, so I think I should ink it up like this. So now it's just a matter of fitting this detail on top. So you'll notice that the two flowers are very close together. So always I'm going to line those two up first. And if you get those two lined up, the other flower should be lined up as well. So just kind of make sure you've got the big flower and the one that nests with it lined up on the florals, and then that third flower kind of, it's an automatic. And if that little guy is off the edge like this one, then you're going to line up the other one. Okay, so this one comes in here. So when we're creating this design, I'm making 4 cards at the same time, or the bulk of the work of this card is done all at the same time. So that's one really cool thing about this card. So even though it seems like a lot of work right initially, I'm trying to line this one up because it's kind of, I can't line up the little flowers on that one. But once you've got these done, you will be good to go, and you'll be able to make 4 cards out of these. Okay, just a few more left. I think I've got about 3 left to stamp. And think about what other colors you could use. I would like, I always like to do purple flowers, so fresh freesia would look really nice, and maybe Highland Heather would look really nice. Fresh freesia and Highland Heather on this. And you can keep the Pear Pizzazz as the ink color, because Pear Pizzazz works really nice as a color. Okay, so I have, let's see, I'm trying to twist this. Okay, I think it goes like that. All right. Okay, there is my very busy pattern of floral paper, and I'm all ready to put all of these stamps aside. Way over here. And then I want to show you how I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut this piece in half. So first of all, this is the 8.5 inch side. I'm going to take it and I'm going to line it up with the 4 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to cut it in half. So we've got 2 pieces now that are 4 1/4 by 5.5. Okay, and then we're going to take one of the pieces and cut it in half on the 5.5 inch side. So that will be at the 2 3/4 inch mark. Okay, so now we've got 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then I'm going to take this other piece and cut it in half on the short side. So I'm going to line this up. This is the 4 1/4 inch side up at the top. I'm going to line it up with the 2 1/8 inch mark and just cut it along the line right there. So then I have 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 2 1/8. All right. So I told you this makes 4 cards. So you're going to need 4 card bases. I'm going to just show you how to make 2 of them because the other 2 are similar, and then I'll just show you the other ones. So my card bases are very simple, 8.5 by 5.5 and scored in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. I'll just fold this up here. use my bone folder, smooth down that fold. Do the same for this one. All right. Okay, so we're going to make, I've got 2 designs for this card. So we're going to take one of these, and this is going to be how the card's going to go. And then this one, we're going to put this one over on the side like this. And I just want to make sure I have my cards out as samples so I can remember what I'm doing. So one of these cards, I'm going to turn it into I'm going to emboss a greeting down here. So I'm going to take my Versamark pad and scoot this over for a second. Take the Versamark pad, and I've got my white embossing powder here, and I'm going to take, let's just keep this laying down here just to kind of give me an idea. I'm going to take the Celebrate stamp and ink it up with Versamark and just stamp it right down at the bottom. I've dumped my embossing powder right into a little container, and then I'm going to take this and spoon the embossing powder right over top. Top off the excess. Always put your embossing powder away because powder can get knocked over. And then I'm going to take my heat tool and just heat this up. And you know when it's changing color to kind of a white, it's going to look whiter, that the embossing powder has melted. And I always do the embossing first. I just lay that piece of paper on there, but just in case I make a mistake, then I haven't glued down that paper yet. Okay, so now we can take this paper, and you might want to turn it and see, okay, does it look better this way or does it look better that way? I think I like it like this. So then I'll just take some adhesive and add it to this panel. That looks like designer paper. And I love how with the Calypso Coral, it's just picked up the Calypso Coral and the card base because I stamped in Calypso Coral. And then we're going to take some pale papaya ribbon, and this is ribbon. It's going to be around for another year, and I love this ribbon. It is what is it called? It is called Open Weave Ribbon. It comes in 5 different colors, and I use this ribbon so much. And you can color it with Stampin' Blends, which is one of the cool things about it. If you don't have the correct color, especially this pale papaya ribbon is very easy to color because it's so light, but it looks really nice on here. I'm just going to clamp these with tweezers, and then I'm going to come and tie a little bow, not a bow, a knot right there. Okay, and then I had scissors here earlier and they have marched off. Oh, I put them away. That's what happens when you put your scissors away. You can no longer find them. Okay, then just take that and cut and cut. And then you can take some of these little gems. These are iridescent rhinestone basic jewels, and I'll just add a few to the card, like 2 or 3 is good. Just find a couple of spaces, and then it just gives it a little sparkle on the card like that. So that is one of the cards. I'll show you all 4 cards in a moment. So then we want to do this little card right here. And this one, we're going to stamp a little greeting. But first we're going to create a little banner. So this is a little piece of basic white cardstock. It measures 3 1/4 inches by 1 inch. And I'm just going to take this, and I like to, with this punch, sometimes I find it can align a little funny even though there's grooves. So I like to work with the back right here facing me, and I just stick it down the groove. And I just want to make sure it's symmetrical. When it looks good, I'll punch it. And I'll do the same. Oops. Make sure you use the same punch for both ends. Well, you don't have to, but I like that look best. Okay. So I've created myself a little label, and I forget the name of this punch. Oh, here is my project sheet. It's partially completed. This is the one that I'm going to be sending my paper pumpkin customers. This punch is called the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. So that I will have a link to photos of my cards over onto my blog with a supply list in case you're looking for anything that I'm talking about today. And I'm going to use the little greeting. It says sending you birthday wishes, and this one is in the floral set. So I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, wait, this is Pale Papaya. I want Calypso Coral. Pale Papaya is nice, but it's not a very dark color, so you want to have a dark enough color so that you can see your words. I'm going to stamp it over towards one end because I'm going to put a bow on the opposite end. All right, come in here, and I'm going to add some Tombow right there, and this is going to be probably 3/4 of an inch in from one end. Doesn't that paper look pretty? It just looks really bright and nice. And once we cut it up, you know, even though it may not have looked 100% wonderful as a big piece, the little pieces look really great. Okay, and then I'm just going to add this over to the side, probably about the same distance in from the side here, and about the same distance up on the bottom. All right, stick that down. And I kind of pre-tied a little bow with the Pale Papaya ribbon, and I like to attach my bows with tear and tape because it gives me just a little bit more grip. I'll put a little piece of tear and tape on each of the loops, the back of the loops of the ribbon, and that just helps keep it together. I'm going to remove the backing. Come on. Sometimes when it's on the ribbon, it wants to stick to the backing, but it is now released. Okay, so now you just want to kind of position the ribbon so it doesn't cover too much of the greeting, like that. And then we'll just add some jewels onto here. When I did these earlier, I have a whole new package of jewels, but I wanted to use up this last bit on the sheet. So, and then I'll put one up here into the card like that. So let's bring out all of the cards I made a few extra because like I said, you've got 2 extra pieces and those will also become cards. You just need to cut card bases for them. So these are the 2 that I made. And then here are a couple other ones that I made with the same pieces. So let me, they need to be in the camera, right? Everything's a little crooked right now. That must drive some people crazy. Okay, let's get this up and straight a little bit. Okay. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So here are the cards. I used Hello and Thinking of You. Those were from the other set. And I just put them on opposite sides. So you can see how you could take this half sheet wonder and do it in whatever color you want. Like if you want to do it in purples, pick a light purple and a dark purple. If you want to do it in pinks, pick a light pink and a dark pink. You can do it in whatever color you want. And then just the darker color can become the card base or the lighter color. Pear Pizzazz works well with most florals. And white embossing looks nice on all dark cardstock. And then just use the same ink for these ones right here. And there you go, you have 4 cards, and these would make a great card set because they all kind of match. And so I hope you like those. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to make this trifold card. And for that, we're going to need this beautiful paper. It's New Horizons Designer Series paper. This paper is in the Jan to June mini catalog, so you won't be able to get it beyond June this year, but it coordinates really nicely with the kit, and it's got just really pretty kind of background scenes. And I'm going to show you 3 different cards. We're going to make one, and then I'm going to show you 2 alternate samples. So we're going to start off with a piece of cardstock, and this is a little bit different of a cut than you normally would do because I've got the 11-inch side and then a 5.5-inch side. So this is you'll only be able to get 1 card out of one sheet of cardstock, but I think it will be worth it in the end. So I've already cut this. So once more, 11 inches by 5.5 inches. We're going to score this at the 3-inch mark. So line up with the 3-inch. And make sure you use your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. And then I need to open up my ruler. That way. Got a lot of things on my desk right now. Okay, and then we're going to line this up with the 6 3/4 inch mark. I better double check that. I've been working on different projects, and sometimes after a while they get all mixed up in your head. Yes, it's 6 3/4. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing anything wrong. Make sure you use scoring blade. Okay, so 3 inches and 6 3/4 inches. And then we're going to fold this along the score line. And I have lost my bone folder. Here it is. Okay, so like this, and then it's going to fold back in the opposite direction. So it's a little bit like of a Z fold card, but it's got kind of a different side edges. So it looks just a little bit different like this. Okay. So then you're going to take your paper, choose a pattern from this paper from New Horizons. And I want to have an area that I can stamp a greeting on. So I'm actually going to make this piece a little bit shorter. This is going to be the orientation. So I'm going to take 1 inch off the bottom of the 6x6 paper. So I'm going to cut it at the 5-inch mark here. I'm going to cut off some of those beautiful florals. I know, it kills me, but I have to do it. Okay, so there's still some florals picking out here. So we're going to then cut this at the 2.5-inch mark. So we're going to have two pieces, a 2.5-inch piece and a 3.5-inch piece. So 2.5 by 5, 3.5 by 5. And I just realized I'm going to need a piece of basic white. I don't think I brought, I need to go grab some. We'll remedy that. Let's cut that right now too. We're going to need a piece of 3.25 inch and by 5. Okay. All right. So now we need to pick 3 colors of cardstock, and I kind of already picked them out for us. So I'm going to use colors right out of the cardstock or the paper. So I've got this Evening Evergreen. So these two are going to line up. This one's going to line up over here. When we glue it, we're going to want to make sure it's on the left side. And then this one is going to be right here. Okay, so before I glue all of these down, I want to do some stamping though. And we're going to use the greetings out of the stamp set that comes with the kit. And we need to find a spot on our paper. We're going to stamp right on this designer paper. And this one says a little note. So I'm going to squeeze this over here onto here. This is Evening Evergreen. So doesn't that look kind of cool? And then we need this one that says, I will always be here for you. So you can decide. I think I'll put it over here on this side here. Just make sure it's nice and inky. I will always be here for you. It does not look nice. I love it. Okay. I'm just looking to see what I should do. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and glue these down right onto the panels first, and then I'm going to glue them onto the card. Okay, so this is the first panel, and this is a piece of Evening Evergreen. Let me tell you what size this is. This is 3 inches by 5.5 inches. And this is going to be panel number 1. And this panel right here, the one that's in Pale Papaya, is a 3 5/8 by 5.5. I cut this one a little bit smaller because it's got 2 score lines and I want it to nest in between the 2 score lines. This is going to be the panel that you can write your inside message on. And I'm going to leave the whole panel blank so you can write a message on there, or I can write a message on there. And then this one is the one we need to be careful with because we don't want it, this is going to peek out, this little strip is going to peek out. So you want to get it close to the left side and leave just a little stripe right there so that this will, when it's closed, it won't show through. Okay, so now we get the fun part of assembling all of these, and you might just want to like hold them up and just kind of put them into their spots and make sure that there's enough room. If you want this panel, you can cut it just shy of 4 1/4 so that the folds fold in better. Okay, then you're going to take your panels and just glue them down. We'll see in a moment what they look like. I created the card, 2 other cards with different papers and different color schemes. So you'll see in a moment how all the different patterns, there's so many different options with those, what's it called again? The New Horizons Designer Series paper. There's a product bundle, a die set, and a stamp set with a die set that's also got the name Horizon in it, and it's hard to keep all the names straight. Okay, it's hard to keep my paper straight too. Okay, so then we've got the pale papaya layer, and then we're going to add this layer right here. Okay. All right, so one last thing, and my ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to add some pale papaya ribbon. I'm going to tie it around the card, right around here. I know this looks weird, but trust me, it will look good in a second. So I'm just going to take the pale papaya, maybe a little less. Don't need that much. Tie it around here. Get my locking tweezers. And we'll do a little knot. Release that. Okay. I know, you're like, what is she doing? This looks weird, but it will look good in a second. Once I get these cut. All right, so now we're going to bend back this card base. And now we've got this, and it looks like this. A little note. And that says, I'll always be here for you. So that is one card. And then I did this one. This one says, hello, and thinking of you. So with this one, I use Calypso Coral and a pale papaya and pear pizzazz. Okay, so that's one. And then I did one, I used Night of Navy cardstock just because Misty Moonlight is retiring, and the cardstock is not going to be available in a little while. It might even be sold out already. So you can use Night of Navy cardstock instead of Misty Moonlight, and you can use your Misty Moonlight Stampin' Spot that came with the kit. And then I used So Saffron in this middle layer because it had some of that yellow color in the paper, and then Fresh Freesia. So just different ways to use that paper, and 3 different cards to use with the New Horizons paper and the stamps. And this paper is very similar to the card bases that are in the kit, so it's a kind of a nice add-on, and you get lots of sheets. I think there are 48 sheets in this 6x6 paper pack, and I know you're gonna love to keep creating with all of those. So there are the cards, and then you've got your half sheet wonder cards as well. To round out the bunch. So really colorful, fun cards. I really hope that you liked those. I'm going to come back over. Hello everyone. I hope you like those. So I'll have a supply list over on my blog. I don't think there's anything tricky or anything like that. I used a lot of cardstock and ink pads in this one. So use what you have on hand. Use colors that you have on hand. The Half Sheet Wonder, really, you can do it with the colors that you have. Our April paper pumpkin kit is $23.50. They just went up a little bit in price, but they're going to be $23.50 for a long time now, because and the shipping is included in your kit. So I wanted to show you a sneak peek banner. This is the banner that they gave us. The theme of the kit is Change is Beautiful. I don't know what the kit is going to look like, but it looks really interesting to me, so I can't wait to see it. It's always a fun surprise to find out what is in the kit. So this kit is designs are inspired by the natural cycles of change found in nature. And they always include printed card bases, die-cut paper pieces, embellishments, adhesive, and more. And this month it's going to include a Melon Mambo Stampin' Spot. So don't forget to sign up by April 10th, because that is the cutoff date. If you have any questions about Paper Pumpkin, please let me know, and I'll have all the links down below that you need to see more photos of the projects that I did today. The link will be down below to sign up for Paper Pumpkin. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.